I love real estate.
Absolutely. And this is a wonderful company. I'm glad we're all here.
Me too.
Wow.
Francisco, we'll connect another day. I think we should talk.
Sounds good. Well, my pleasure, Linda.
Okay.
Stay in touch. Bye.
Stay well.
There's only 50 of us listening intently to everything you said. We're absolutely loving that. So, all of the pre-show activities were, yeah, that's fantastic. All the pre-show activities were taken care of for us, so that's fantastic. All right, we're at the top of the hour, so we're going to get rolling in observance of all of your time and scheduling all the fantastic breakouts and things that have been going on through this EXPCON. It is absolutely unbelievable the amount of interaction and collaboration that goes on inside of this company. So definitely a blessing to me for now 7 years, but I'll get into that. So if you are looking for us, we are the International Growth Breakout. I think we're short one person, but she'll get in here shortly, Chelsea. And let's begin. Little housekeeping issues. Over to the right web screen, you can find details on how to refresh your mic or mute your microphone if you're having any tech issues. Everything you might need to know is over there. So if you have any issues, of course, my voice cuts in and out a little bit, so just bear with me there. That's not your microphone. That's just my glorious little medical issue I'm working through, so bear with me there. And let me introduce myself. My name is Brent Beavers. I am Agent 201 with this company, and I have to say that I am the luckiest man on the face of the planet, because I got to come into this company very early and on a vision. We had nothing tangible at that point in regards to what we have now, or in comparison to what we have now. I have been blessed that I was the #1 agent in the state of Alabama in the U.S., and I'm the designated managing broker up until here recently. So in running that state, we built it from nothing almost to a little over 600 agents when I left it, with only a state of 15,000 agents. That's a pretty good, strong agent count market share within just a few short years. So we've duplicated that obviously across the U.S. But what we're here to talk about today is I'm blessed again to be in my new position of the Global Growth Manager, and going to be joined today by our Director of Operations for Global, Miss Megan Kelly. We've got Chelsea Copenhaver, our Director of Marketing for Global, and the Queen for a Day, as we like to call her sometimes, Miss Juliet Zuniga, is going to be speaking as well today. Now, we were kind of promoted as a panel. We'll get to that, but we really wanted to fill this time slot with an idea of what EXP is going to be from a sponsorship standpoint, along with what are the huge differences or the minute differences when it comes to the U.S. and Canadian models, even going out into the wide world that we're expanding into. So it's such an exciting time here at EXP. So we're going to cover a lot of information. We will be making these slides available. I believe this session will be recorded as well, so there'll be times to come back and revisit this, because some of this is still a work in progress. As you know, we've announced the 5 countries that we're opening by the end of 2020. I could give Megan a heart attack and say I'm going to announce the 5 or up to 5 in Q1 of 2021, but I won't do that because I do value my job here at EXP. But the basis of this is how exciting the growth, and if you know the amount of countries that have viable real estate markets in the world, it's going to absolutely be a nonstop train for us. Our global growth is going to be probably, and per the bet that we all heard from Dave Kennord and our president of Global, Michael Valdez, is absolutely going to be a competition inside of EXP, but a benefit of everyone that is EXP, which is all of you and all of the wonderful people to come. So, and I apologize, I'll try to speak up. I've got some voice issues, so just try to bear with me on that. But today we're going to cover growth in itself, like we're saying, the actual onboarding and tools that are available to our global agents. They are different than what we have in the U.S. We'll give a brief overview of those, and then a marketing point of view in regards to our pre-launch activities and the things we're doing to launch in these countries, and then what's to come after that. All right, our international footprint is tiny, quite frankly, at this point. But all that means is opportunity. Just like we had in the U.S. when we opened this this great vision, we literally had nothing in regards to a tangible, viable product to present in regards to this real estate vision that Glenn had. And with that, so we had to talk about the vision a lot. So if you'll notice, people like myself that are early on, vision and passion are the two most crucial points that we have, because we didn't really have the, look at where we are on NASDAQ now, look at what we have in RevShare and have these tangible numbers to present. So feel lucky that you've got these actual numbers to come back on and say, look at what we've done, look at where we're going. It's the tip of the rocket ship. It hasn't even left the pad yet. So it puts us in a position of, just here we say in the U.S., the catbird seat, where we absolutely can accomplish great things. And the point of a lot of this that I'll talk about is that we're going to do that together, leaning on each other. That's a core value here, and collaboration and fun. Those fun's one of my favorite. The collaborative nature of this company is fantastic. Now we're going to do what we've been blessing and changing lives on the U.S. and North America scale on a global level. So it's truly an exciting time. But as you know, we have just recently opened South Africa. We're already obviously in Canada, UK, and Australia, and soon to be, before the end of 2020, France, Portugal, and India. Do me a favor, all of you that are with EXP currently, if you've got Workplace handy, you can wait until after this breakout session. Go to Workplace, look up Andrew Thompson. He is our designated managing broker and country lead there in South Africa. Today is his birthday. I would love nothing more than everyone in this room and everyone hearing my voice to go to his Workplace page and wish him a happy birthday from all of us here at EXP. He has done a fantastic job in South Africa. Is in great hands. All right, let's talk about the nuts and bolts here, the pre-launch guidelines, because obviously we've opened South Africa, but the other countries are in flight, if you will, in process. So I'm not going to read much bullet points today, but I do want to make you aware that these things are there. Juliet will talk about a little later in her slides where you can find these things for individual countries, but it's all pretty much the same in regards to our pre-launch guidelines on what you can do and really what you cannot do in regards to sponsorship efforts or starting conversations in other countries. A lot of things are very parallel to the U.S., but there are a lot of things that are very different. For example, I'm not going to cover in detail today because we haven't put it all out there yet, but the models from country to country are not exactly the same as here in the U.S. The tools, for example, we have KV Core in the U.S. We do not use KV Core abroad. So knowing your product is going to be very important, and the guidelines of how to present that product along with your relationships. So let's touch on a few of these. The things that you definitely can do and should be doing is after the official announcements, which are crucial. We've talked about the countries that are coming, but if we haven't officially announced a country and you've heard a rumor, pay close attention to that in regards to how you go about having conversations, because we don't want to get ahead of ourselves or press releases and things. Everything's done in process for a reason, because we're not a franchise. We're a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ, as you see, under EXPI. And that comes a few extra rules and regs and legalities there. So we will absolutely always supply you with everything you need to get those conversations going. Now, if you know an agent in the country, you absolutely can speak with them, but just be careful about how you go about that. These guidelines are going to give you those rules of engagement, if you will. But the conversations themselves must be had with individuals which you have some type of personal or pre-existing relationship with. Just as our agent attraction pledge in the U.S. states, and I'm sure we'll have something in the near future on the global side, you don't want to be broadcasting spam messages and things that are not, I would say, for lack of a better term, don't be a jackass. Treat others in the golden rule just like you want to be treated, or just like the golden rule. Yeah, I know. You get some cursing out of me from this. That's absolutely always going to happen. So again, I'm not going to touch on all of these, but come back to this. This is going to be in the self-help rooms, as Juliet will show you in a little bit, in every country as we prep for launch. And you'll always have these, and this is a way that we're going to be able to work together, as we do in the U.S., to steward this fantastic model that we have on a global stage. As we go through this stuff, I'm trying not to bore you to death with the bullet points. Like I said, this will be something you'll be able to revisit down the road. But start asking your questions. Megan is kind of monitoring the chat for us. We want to take this in the direction you want it to be. So if you have a specific question about a specific country, that might be something we take offline, but we want to be able to answer your questions today as we go forward in our growth. So let's touch on best practices for EXP Global, and we are that now. Yes, we have EXP Realty, we have EXP UK, but we're one global family. So professionalism is crucial. So best practices, and this will be in a PDF format, and absolutely will be in a format via website, via other marketing tools that will be rolled out. All of the stuff that you're going to see today is not super secret squirrel, if you would, but it's available on a glimpse basis to get you started, because a lot of this stuff is being developed, and we want to make sure that when we do this and we take over the world as EXP, so to speak, we do it in the right way and we're good stewards of this model and vision. So I don't know how many of you actually heard the keynote this morning, but I want to throw something in about that. DeWitt Jones absolutely changed a lot of people's lives this morning in regards to how he talked about vision, and having a vision that was going to change perceptions. Now, this is my personal, absolutely great. This is my personal take on it, but I wanted to echo it in this particular breakout, so I'm kind of going off script a little bit. But I learned something he said in particular in the military, quite frankly, where perception becomes reality, where everything that and how someone sees us can become our reality in some sort. So he led off with that. I learned it in a hard way, but if you flip it on the other side and go back to the vision side and take all the totality of everything that he put out there for us this morning, you don't have to, and I quote, you don't have to prove yourself, improve yourself every day. So taking this model and taking this vision that we've all been blessed with and put it out and literally changing people's lives on the world stage, it's a situation where we're not going out to prove ourselves anymore as a company, where we actually had to do that in the early days. Even on a global scale, now we're improving ourselves. And with the addition of Michael and Megan and the global team and commercial, and announcing earlier today the surprise announcement about its success, the data, back-end data things that we're working on, this company is on the cusp of being so much more than it is today. And that is almost scary exciting because of where we are today. So if you're new to EXP or just getting a feel for it, your excitement level should be through the roof right now on so the passion should be there in making this fantastic model, again, that's life-changing, easy to present as we go forward. So, but one thing that I took from his talk before I move forward is enjoy the journey, because there is no destination, there's only markers along the way. So I am honored to be on this journey with you all. So let's talk about a few more particular things that we can use and absolutely take to our day-to-day in regards to global growth and even things that are applicable in the U.S. as well. So recruitment and sponsorship is how can I say it nicely? It is something that I take extremely seriously, because RevShare is literally the icing on a fantastic cake. It is nothing more than an additional benefit of being with a great company. Now, I've had people look at me and say, "You're crazy, I'm making X amount of dollars in RevShare, and RevShare is why I'm here even," or whatever. But a lot of you might not have heard this phrase before, but something we said in the early days, people said, "This is not sustainable." And we took it with a grain of salt, of course, but we took it to mean that without revenue, there is no revenue share. So in several of these bullet points, again, I'm going to let you touch on those on your own time. Improving yourself, and going back to what DeWitt said, the collaborative training and things that happen in this company that you're able to take back and now we'll be able to spread on a global basis is second to none when it comes to the passion and the knowledge, because we have some of the best real estate minds that we're just lucky to be around, and you're one of those minds as well. So find a way, fit in where get in where you fit in is another phrase we use in the U.S. Find a place that you can contribute inside of this company. So if you're hearing my voice, say you're in Portugal right now and you're just about to open a country, find a place that you can benefit or be a blessing, as I like to say, to a Canadian agent. There's going to be a lot of ways and things that are interchangeable across our global community in regards to real estate. A lot of things are different, but a lot of things are interchangeable. So I challenge you to find that. So in regards to sponsorship in and of itself, we have some rules of engagement, if you will, on how you go about presenting yourself and starting your relationships. So the only bullet points I wanted to actually hang out on here is to seek and attract serious and productive pros who are a cultural fit to EXP. So as you're finding who you want to partner with via your connections in other countries, never take it as I want my numbers. I want X number of agents and I want a downline of this and that. All of those things play out the way they're supposed to play out. But if you will align yourself and have conversations with the people who you want to learn from, who you want to represent a brand that you're also an owner of, and how we're going to build this going forward, it's absolutely the best approach to building this company to what we want it to be as owners. Organizations and downlines. Let's talk about that a little bit. As you go forward in building, if you go back to building a downline and the organizations within EXP that I'm sure you've heard some nicknames and a lot of people are supporting, we don't actually require as a company you to support your downline. So as you're going forward in your sponsorship efforts, know that you're not required. And so I always use the analogy of say you're in junior high school and you have been asked to introduce a new student to where the classrooms are, the lunchroom, those type of things. Once that's over, it's pretty much over. If you become friends, great. If you don't, you don't. That's not a requirement. There are staff, there are support structures in place for those students in that situation. The same goes with EXP. Now, just because it's not required doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Now, as you can see in some of these other bullet points, and as you can tell, I'm not a slide guy, as you research some of these things and become familiar with them, you'll see topics or points of instruction that tell you, okay, don't offer services, for example, and don't try to sweeten the pot for someone to join your downline or list you as a sponsor, which is still on the global side going to be 100% their decision. We encourage everyone to list the person who's most influential in them joining the company, but it's not a competition. This is about growth and a positive thing. But think of your downline as everyone in the company. Now, I know this will be a little controversial with some of our fantastic influencers, especially on the U.S. side. They do a great job of building, but they do all open the doors to their trainings and their events and things to everyone at EXP, because they have, from a financial point of view, a vested interest in everyone doing well, because the rising tide lifts all ships, as a phrase that comes to mind. That's the situation we're in. There's so many avenues that if you will plug in and help build everyone and pour back into the community as EXP and one EXP, we are truly a global family at that point. Advertising communication, I'm not going to touch on too much because Chelsea is going to lay through that, but I want you to review and know what you can and can't do in regards to types of ads and what can be approved and not be approved and what has to be submitted for approval. Some of those things are being worked through, so there will be more definitive guidelines put out in the coming weeks and months that tell you a little more about that. So always keep a pulse on what's going on and pay attention. We have a fantastic meeting on a monthly basis, which is an international update. Michael Valdez runs, and he gives a lot of the updates of what's going on in our countries, and those are places you can ask those questions. Of course, later you'll get all of our contact information. You can reach out with those as well, because we want to be, especially from my position as a growth manager, a benefiting support structure to you and your efforts as well. Here's the most important part to me, absolutely most important part of the best practice side of global agent tracks, or any agent tracks for that matter. If you haven't understood where I was going with a lot of this, community and the people are all that matters to me and most everyone at this company. I care truly, if you can't hear it in my scratchy voice, I care truly about each and every one of you succeeding, because that gives me joy. More than anything else, if I can help you in any way to succeed in your efforts to make your life and your family and your community better than I do, that gives me joy and it makes my life better. So all members of our EXP Global community strive to support and encourage fellow agents. That is absolutely at our core. If you're not familiar with our core values yet, for those of you who are new to us, check those out. Really know that from the top down, from Glenn down, this entire company absolutely lives by those things, and it's truly an inspirational time to be alive inside of this company. All right, so I'm not going to beat the proverbial dead horse on what we can't do, but here is going to be a list of prohibited practices that, when it comes to your sponsorship efforts, that you can't actually, in pre-launch and after, can't cross lines. Now, this is not about a no-no list, okay? This is about putting our best foot forward for everyone, to keep an equal playing field, to keep the cultural differences, to keep the things that could cause conflict from one country to the next, for example, away from our brand and our image and our mission as a global EXP. So when you look through these bullet points and you see about offering inappropriate incentives and all the rules and the no-nos, like I said, at that point, know that it's not about, hey, we're trying to stymie your ability to get out there and make contact and growth inside of EXP. It's totally the opposite of that. And I wanted to kind of veer into a position. I wanted to veer into a position or point of view that everybody having an equal playing field is not about, or to put behind, the ones that don't have contacts in certain countries. There are tons of places that you can reach out and groups and meet people, but think of it as a marriage proposal. I'm probably going to scare a few people in the room. If you have something that's going to absolutely change someone's life, which could be being your significant other, and they are someone you want to be in business with, intertwining the two here, you can't just lead with that. If you've never met this person, if you absolutely have no relationship with them, and this doesn't matter if you're in a U.S. state and they're next door to you and you've never met them, or if they're across the world, there's some differences, but there's a lot of similarities. The human condition is very similar across the world when it comes to feelings and compassion and those type of things. If you've got this life-changing opportunity and you want to get it to them, but you don't have a relationship, you absolutely can make contact with people and build relationships. But what we're trying to guard against, for the benefit of all, is okay, you've accepted my Facebook friend request, or we've connected through a mutual coach or a group, and them getting an EXP presentation shoved down their throat. Those type of things. Just the golden rule always comes into play. If you absolutely would not like to be treated that way, then don't do that. And then, of course, these guidelines here are going to help put you there, but always approach it in your growth efforts, because there's so many great best practices that are in here that will be able to, and of course you can learn from a lot of the other influencers across the country and in the U.S. and across the world, really. So we'll kind of jump through these prohibited practices. Recruitment and sponsorship are going to be the most important ones, of course, when it comes to how you present the EXP model and where you can present. So I'm going to show you in a moment, once I hop through here and quit my soapbox, where are my resources? Okay, I've got someone that wants to join EXP in this country. Where do they go? Those type of things we'll get to in just a moment. But the recruiting and sponsorship piece of EXP is like I said, the icing on a fantastic cake. So when you take these to your contacts that you either have for years and years or develop in the proper manners, always remember those golden rule philosophies and how you administer and get those nurtured relationships. Just treat them like you want to be treated, and you absolutely will grow inside of this company. And a lot of these principles are going to apply in the U.S. and across the globe as well. So advertisement and communication, Chelsea will touch on this a little bit more in her slides, but making sure that you're only doing organic growth efforts. You cannot do blast advertising. You cannot go out and hire someone to present the EXP model for you, those type of things. So making sure that you understand what the model is that you're going to present. First and foremost, you have a core relationship with the person that you want to present it to, and that door is open. So not taking any mass marketing efforts as well. We're going to be prohibiting those. So I don't want to be the bad guy by any means, but just making sure that you're all protected going forward, and that we don't, especially with cultural differences, that we don't rush into countries that we have no experience or no relationship with and start offending the local agent base, where it could give a bad reputation to EXP in those markets, and then it damages the ability for our growth for the ones that are doing it the right way. So just make sure that you pay attention to that. And I'm going to leave that subject because I don't like negative things, and not that this is negative, but sometimes it's taken that way. So I'm going to absolutely put it out there and let you know that these are available to go through. So let's talk about the professionalism that we want to bring across borders, and actually let me jump to the resources for this. So we are already in Canada, we are in Australia, we're in the UK, and here recently have opened South Africa. In doing that, all of our models are different. The Canada is very similar to the US in regards to tools, but it's still a different structure and different join situation. So as you've developed these relationships, you've nurtured and want to show them the EXP model, you need to know the model for that country. Is our model available for, say, Portugal, which I don't think it's out yet? No, it's coming. So our pre-flight or in-flight models in countries that are growing, you can keep up with those at Global Partners, and I'll come back to that one. But all of these websites I wanted to give you inside of this presentation that you can go to for our existing countries that are already open. You've probably been some other breakouts with our wonderful UK team, and Australia did a fantastic, I believe it was 4 a.m. Australia time. They came in here to EXP World to share real estate the Aussie way. There's such fantastic information that can be applied to your Tampa Bays and places in the U.S. as well, or around the world. So we're really creating a global community here. So if you've got someone in a particular country in a particular situation that you want to put them inside of our pipeline, if you will, your Canadian, Australia, UK, and South Africa sites are live. There are the direct links to the join apps and the marketing decks. All of the information you'll need can be found there. As Juliet will show you, you'll be able to get to those things in the self-help rooms as well, and links out from there. In-flight, India, which I believe is launching in just a few days. Mexico, we're having a webinar here very, very soon. If you would like to get some prospects into that, I'm going to show you how to get there. You can go to our main portal website, which is expglobal.partners, expglobal.partners. From there, there will be additional information and links and sites and things that will build, so you can kind of use that for now as your go-to for upcoming countries and announcements and things. So as we make those announcements, pre-registration is very important, because back to my main objective here is I want to support you all in the growth of your revenue share lines and the things to help us build these countries to be dominant in their parts of the world where our EXP Global family is a huge success for all of us. So if you've got someone you would like to pre-register prior to an announced country launch, this will give you an access point to get their name on a list that will get them new materials as they come out, resources, soon to be trainings, and things to kind of get them a head start on what we're going to be launching. So you can pre-register your people you know that you've already had conversations with. You can help them out there, or they can go directly to pre-register and list you as a person that had introduced them to the company. That is not a join app, but we would put your name in the notes to kind of keep you in the loop on anything we send out to them as well. And if you know someone who might want to open a country that we have not announced yet, you can go ahead and do the link at the bottom of the page for EXP Globals has a country request form. That doesn't mean we're going to open the country. That doesn't mean that it's in our immediate plans, but we do take all of those inquiries seriously. We're going to make contact and kind of fill the situations out, because again, we want to be a support structure to help you get there. Last but not least, I will be a resource for each and every one of you at any time. And if I get 100 messages from this, so be it, because I want to be and help create what you need to get those relationships nurtured and get you the right tools and things so you can do what it is you want to do on a global scale. So I'm already on Workplace. You can reach out via chat or call me there. As you can see, once I talk a lot over the course of the day, my voice likes to give out thanks to this little medical thing I'm going through, but I don't always sound this bad. There's my US cell phone number. You can call or text me directly. That's perfectly fine. Or email at brentbeavers.exprealty.net. All right, now you don't have to suffer through my voice anymore. Juliet is our fantastic onboarding specialist. She was in Canada. I'm going to let her introduce herself because she does a much better job. But I met her during what we call our EXP World Cup. And if you are not familiar with EXP World Cup, we will be doing that later again this year. She was a participant on the Canadian and the Quebec team. And yes, it's just like it sounds like. And I believe Canada won the World Cup, Juliet, if I'm not mistaken.
Alberta.
Yeah,
Alberta.
Exactly. Alberta won. We had it broken up, and we'll have new global entrants this year. But we actually have a tournament out on the soccer field, and it is a real competitive time. That's that community I was talking about. So EXP is much more than rev share. It's much more than great tools and trainings. It is truly, truly a community. So Juliet, take it away, ma'am.
Thanks, Brent. We're thrilled that you're part of this amazing global team. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be working alongside such an amazing team. Michael, Megan, Celia, Brent, Chelsea, Allison, Gretchen. Thank you, everybody, for everything that you do. You guys are just great. So let's get started. We are so happy to share the good news with all of you regarding our new tool called REP. The real estate platform is a great tool designed for agents in the run with an interactive agent dashboard that allows agents to get quick access to important information. The agent will do everything from listings, creating their own listings, putting up the pictures for the listings, making sure that the verbiage and everything is as they wanted it to show in the website. So it's really a personalized tool for them. Also, they could set up their CRM, calendar, and tasks. I really love this feature because it allows the agent to always have reminders and about like appointments, calls, open houses, property viewing, virtual open houses, virtual viewings. Today with everything that is happening, we're going more and more into the virtual open houses. So that is a way for them to get reminded of that. Also, there's a super cool feature which allows the agent to customize marketing templates like birthday cards, anniversaries, newborns, and also they could send newsletters to their clients from their CRM. Plus, we also have the transaction piece where you will be able to create your transactions all in the same portal. So it's an amazing tool. It's everything all in one place. Like, I know that we have many visitors from different places, and don't get jealous, please. We just did it for global. But it's really great. Like, the more I see it, the more I like it. Just being able to do everything in one place for the agents, it's a great tool. On top of that, all the goodies, we have also a multi-language feature for all the new countries that we're opening in different parts of the world. So for Mexico, we'll have it in Spanish. For France, we'll have it in French. And for Portugal, we have it in Portuguese. Rep, the real estate platform, is integrated with a customer-facing website. So when an agent is onboarded in our global joint app, he or she will get access to Rep, which is our dashboard, and they will be able to change their profile, and they will be able to change the picture, their phone number, the email if something changes, and that will transmit directly to our consumer face website. Our global websites are localized to ensure they have that in-country vernacular, currency, languages, and much more. Also, from our website, you could invite agents that you want to attract to the company, and this will take them to our global join app. So this is very important for us to keep in mind, that the only way for you to onboard or to share that join app to an agent, it's when actually the country is launched and we have the live website and the live join app. Now let us look into the Agent Hub. It is a multi-language site built in-house for our agents, where they will be able to find all necessary tools for the beginning of their journey with EXP Global. In this case, the picture that you see there, it's in Spanish for Mexico. Then we have in all the tabs very important information, like everything about EXP, important documents, logos and marketing, training calendars and special events, and agents will be able to contact their brokers from there in their language of choice. So in this case, we have France. They could contact Samuel in French if they want to. Also, there's the frequently asked questions. Many times after an agent is onboarded, they feel a little overwhelmed with all the amazing tools and information that is provided to them. At the same time, this is it's a very simple way for them to get quick answers to their questions and know who to ask when in doubt. So they have almost 20 to 25 questions there where they will be able to, how much is my monthly fee? How much is my cap? Many times the agents, they hear this many times, but they don't remember. So all these questions are there. What happened if I want to get into World, but my passport is not working? What happened if I didn't receive my passport? Many questions, it will be answered there. Now let us go to our world locations. As we're opening new countries, you will find in the world on your go-to menu, Global Ops coming soon. The countries that have been announced previously by our global team. In this case, and as an example, you will see countries like India, Portugal, France, and Mexico. You have two things. The main office is where you will be able to find staff, and you could use the room and you could have meetings with country prospects that you may have, and you are able to go inside. It's an open office for everybody. Also, you have the self-help, where you will be able to find the pre-launch activities. So when you click the picture, it would actually redirect you to the pre-launch activities, so you could read them and have them handy. Also, the new country requests. If you have a new country that you want to inform us about, or the global team about it, you could click there and you could see the pre-registration for a country that it's already announced. So in this case, for the 5 countries that we have, And a new country request, if you know someone in a country that is not open yet and you want to maybe have a discussion about it, you'll put it there and somebody from our global team will contact you. Also, when the webinar is presented in that country, so in this case, we already did the webinar for India, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, all the information from India, business model, presentation, everything will be in that self-help room. For the countries that are already launched, like South Africa, the self-help room is a great tool for you to find the presentation, business model, and staff. As you can see in my picture, when you click their picture, it will redirect you to a workplace chat where you could ask away. How cool is that? Well, guys, this is my update. Hope you had an excellent rate of, oh my God, sorry, I'm so nervous. I hope you have an excellent rest of EXPCON 2020. Now I will leave you with a person that I have been working a lot lately, and she's awesome, who happens to be our Global Marketing Director, Chelsea.
Juliet, that was amazing. And hello, everyone. So as Juliet said, I've just joined a couple of weeks ago, but I'm already so excited for this company and what we're doing on a global scale. I just love experiencing the enthusiasm of all of our agents, all of who are amazing EXP ambassadors, and I can't wait to see how that rolls out on a global scale. So as I think the kind of topic of this conversation and why you're all here is that our entrance into these new markets presents an amazing opportunity, not only for EXP, but for all of our agents as well. So we've talked a little bit about cross-border sponsorship and some do's and don'ts. Brent went over those when it comes to marketing. So I just want to talk to you about some of the best practices to keep in mind if approaching any agents in other countries. So first of all, and most importantly, we have to make sure we're approaching any international business with cultural intelligence. That will just enable effective communication and function in different cultural contexts. I think that the world we live in is so globalized, we can go completely around the world and it still can seem oddly familiar sometimes, but we do need to resist the notion that we can do business as usual wherever we go. So it's important to just go beyond our intelligence and our communication skills. We need to acquire that cultural knowledge, cross-cultural communication, and cultural mindfulness. So second thing, we have seen tremendous organic growth in the US, and we see that as a huge part of our global opportunity coming up. So I think just building upon what Brent said, we just need to remember to build upon those personal connections and relationships, because what our goal is to do is really to build credibility and trust as a key part of our global brand. And that's something we always need to keep in the forefront of our minds. Third is to stay on brand. Our countries will have a slightly different brand and things will look different than they do in the US. So we will have a separate global brand as a whole. We'll also have different messaging, languages, and types of communication and graphics that we're using. So we will have brand guidelines available after launch of these countries. That will happen in the near future, but it's very important to make sure that we're all working together to create a strong and cohesive brand in every country and adapting to the local brand guidelines. So further to that, know the model. Our model, as Brent mentioned, also looks different in every country. So we remain the same agent-centric EXP everywhere we go, but exactly what that looks like will vary and sometimes quite significantly in different countries. So it is really important to speak to anyone in another country only about the model that has been approved there. And we'll be announcing those models in more detail soon. India will be launching on Monday. And once they launch, then we'll be announcing the models. So last, as a general reminder, we certainly encourage our agents to create content around their personal brand. However, content, URLs, videos, and especially paid programs never appear as if they come from EXP itself. We are going to be setting up a system where anything created for global will need to go through an approval process. But for now, just please keep in mind everything that Brent discussed, which will also be shared with you guys. So let me just... Sorry. So moving on from that, I just want to let you guys know a little bit about what we are doing from a corporate perspective as we launch in each country. So first of all, we are looking at localizing our brand and developing new assets Often this includes translation as well, and that includes all printed collateral, merchandise, a website, business cards, social media communications, all of that. We're working with local PR agencies to elevate our brand and our in-country spokespeople in the local media. And we're developing on-the-ground vendor relationships that will provide services, development, and printing of our marketing materials for agents. So from a corporate level, we are going to be advertising, and we are maintaining the right to advertise exclusively. As Brent mentioned, agents cannot do paid advertising on their own. But from EXP, we will be engaging in various paid campaigns from a corporate perspective. These will include Google, social media, print advertising where relevant, and other options in some cases. We will also be utilizing social media heavily in developing unique content for each market. So the last thing I want to touch on is our pre-launch webinars, which Juliet mentioned. So we're doing one of these for each country prior to launch, and they're a great resource for anyone interested in EXP in that country. So our global and in-country leadership basically explain the model in detail and go through our marketing deck in those presentations. We have Mexico scheduled for next Tuesday, the 17th. France is on Monday, the 23rd of November, and Portugal will be scheduled for Monday, the 30th of November. So I'm going to include the link for Mexico in the chat box. If you'd like to be sent the webinar links for any of these, as well as shareable graphics, please just put your email address and the country you're interested in the chat, and I will send you that information after this presentation and once we have all of that. So that's it for me. Brent, I'll hand it back to you.
It would have been so much better to listen to them the bulk of the start. I jumped ahead one too many slides there. Here again is our contact information, maybe. At some point we'll come back on the screen. For myself, Juliet, Chelsea, and you can reach out to any of us at any given time. We do have Megan Kelly in the room as well, Director of Global Operations. So I wanted to give you a little time, and we're pretty much towards the end of what we're going to talk about today, but wanted to give you some time to ask some questions and give you answers, if we can, to the best of our ability right now to point, at least point you in the right direction, if nothing else. So you can open your mic, you can put them preferably in the text chat, would probably be easiest, so we don't get a craziness going right now. But is any other questions, comments? I see a lot of people typing, so definitely put your email address as well, and we will get you those links and materials. Go ahead with your question. I believe I saw Colin trying to ask a question. Is that correct?
Hello. Great presentation, by the way, everyone. I just had a couple questions when it comes to, let's say, entities that are set up like developers or brokerages, and they have, let's say, multiple countries, let's say Portugal and UK, for instance. If there's, let's say, an agent or one of the principals of that organization, and they're not based in that country, but they have business operations in that country, are they able also to launch with that country or become eligible to launch as let's say EXP Portugal or India or whichever one?
Megan, that sounds like a great question for you.
Yeah, I was multitasking. I'm sorry.
Do
Can
you want me to
repeat the question?
I'll be happy to. Yeah. Well, it's just because international, it's kind of tricky, right? Because in the U.S. we do have licensing requirements. Some countries don't have it. There are restrictions on, being eligible to conduct business, say in India, for instance. And I was Shashank was very succinct as far as what happens when you become an agent. But to become an agent, let's say I'm not based there, but I have business operations there. Let's say I have a brokerage or coaching business or development business in that country. and I want to, let's say, set up in that country and launch with EXP, am I able to do that if I'm based in another country?
Currently, no. So I think, there we go. The way it's set up right now, you would be an agent either in the US or in India. We don't have multiple country agencies for agents because the systems don't allow for that. So it is something that we are putting on our list to discuss, but we do not support that at this time.
So if, let's say, that agent wanted to become a U.S. agent and they were eligible to become a U.S. agent, let's say in Florida or another state, and they got their license, they would just launch with EXP US and sponsor from there?
Exactly. Because the challenge is, multiple downlines and, where do you cap and where do you pay fees and all that kind of stuff. There's so many different nuances to it. So the ideal situation would be we will be launching cross-border revenue share in the beginning of the year, I believe January 1st. So somebody in Florida could sponsor somebody in India or South Africa or Portugal, and they will be part of their revenue share downline. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
And I'll throw out another question real quick that we've gotten off line here. Several have asked about if you qualify, and this is for the future, if you qualify as, say, being a U.S. and a Mexico agent. Not sure that can be done yet, so just, again, it's in talks at this point. Would you have the same cap? We can go ahead and pretty much answer that question if that is allowed down the road. Global, as we presented earlier, has different systems, different setup. Everything is very different in a lot of ways. So there would not be one cap and one fees. As you learn the models that are relevant to you, the splits are a little different. Obviously, there's currency exchange and different staffing and all these things that go into play with it. So just know that as you learn these models to present them, that there are some nuances and differences, and really dig down in them. And if you have questions, ask, and we'll do our best to provide those answers for you. I didn't see any other questions in the text chat. Does anyone have anything else? You can raise your hand or put them in the text chat. Well, I will say this then. I am, again, honored. I appreciate you listening to my ramblings, but you can tell I'm a passion guy, and I am surrounded on this stage by some of the most fantastic business women you will ever meet. And that goes through our entire company. As you can tell, we're a very diverse group across EXP, and we love that. We absolutely bask in the greatness of all of these minds and positives that each person brings to this company. So I am honored to be in business with all of you that are listening and that are going to be a part of this global wave that we're about to take in India and Mexico and the coming countries. And it's absolutely an exciting time to be with EXP and take that passion on. So let's do this. Have a great rest of your day.
There is a question from Alicia Pulido. She's asking where in Mexico is EXP Realty? So it's going to be the whole country.
I believe, Ismael, you're in the room. If you'd like to open your mic and tell them what's up to coming in Mexico.
Hey, Brent, I have a question.
Sure, absolutely. Megan, you want to speak to that real quick on what the rollout of Mexico is going to entail?
Yeah, the rollout of Mexico is actually the entire country. So when we open on day one, we will be open in all of Mexico.
Simple as that. Okay, go ahead with the next question.
Brent, I've had a lot of people ask me about other countries, what's happening next year. Is that going to be any part of the presentation? In case I missed that, I didn't have it.
I said that earlier that I was about to give Megan and Michael, if they were in the room, a heart attack if I spewed out some fantastic knowledge that I have. We can't do that just yet. There will be proper press releases and announcements at the proper times. There is a list and there is inner workings that's happening with Q1 2021 and beyond. So just know that they will come at the appropriate time and the support for them will be there as well. But if you have someone that ask you about that, you can direct them to the expglobal.partners where they can pre-register agents, or if they're a possible country head or a broker owner that wants to bring EXP to their country, they can pre-register the country, and we'll get into private talks with them on the back end.
See, we have a couple more questions in the chat box. Start with David Reese. The company is always the sponsor for candidates brought forth by associates from a country other than the sponsor's country, correct? Megan, can you answer that for us?
Yeah, I'm reading it right now. The company is always the sponsor for candidates brought forth by associates from a country or... I'm not sure. Can you explain your question a little bit better?
Sure,
I'm
thanks,
not sure.
Thanks for the
Sorry.
opportunity. So if a U.S. EXP associate attracts a candidate from France, is the company always the first line sponsor of a French associate?
No, they would be your, like, so say if you sponsored somebody in France, they would be your downline. You would be their sponsor, not the company. Not the company. That's not how we currently have it set up.
Okay, so even though I'm not a Frenchman, okay, I'm in the U.S. I bring somebody to the company, they're my first line. There was, I thought, policy preceding where the company had an interposing role for quality control.
That is not how we have it set up right now. No.
And that clarity is in all countries, correct?
Sorry, I'm getting a lot of feedback. Yes, correct. As of right now, there is no in between. You are a direct sponsor to that agent.
Fantastic.
We're lucky enough to have Jason Guessing in the room, and I believe he was trying to chime in on that.
No, sorry guys to interrupt. I heard your question, David, and I think I am familiar with what you're referring to, but I just need to do a little bit of double checking on it. But we have contemplated and seen merit in the past in having there be a spot when somebody sponsors someone across border in order to ensure that we have the resources available to provide the support that an upline sponsor ordinarily would, even when time zones make that impermissible. So not a firm answer, but I think I know where you're headed.
Okay, so if we could follow up, it'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Excellent question.
Nora, can our prospects access the webinar? Yes, you can send them the link that I've shared for Mexico. And if you would like the links for France and Portugal, we are still working on getting those live, but you can share your email address in the chat box and I'll make sure those get.
There's another question there of what is the requirement to becoming a real estate agent in Mexico if you're in Mexico?
I would check with the local laws because there's different areas of Mexico, but in general, there's not licensing in every area. There is an opportunity to have a license that's kind of voluntary, but they're becoming more, they're becoming more strict on it. There is also, I think, some other stipulations. You have to be a permanent resident in order to sell real estate there. So I would take a look at where you're going and we can help you. We can put you in touch with our broker there if you do have questions on what that looks like for you, if you know where you're going to, and get you some specific answers, which I can't provide, unfortunately.
Let's see. Kathy says, please be more specific about locations in Mexico. It would be nice for someone to have other practicing agents in their city. Please tell us names of cities we have EXP agents signed up in. Is Ismail in the room?
I believe he's left us to go to the expo, if I'm not mistaken. So if you leave here, he will probably actually be at least a 30-minute span at the expo hall at the EXP Global booth, so you could go check and ask direct questions there. Basically, we have not launched there yet. So when the webinar happens on Monday, if you will go ahead and get any prospects into that webinar, those questions could possibly be answered for them there as well. But there, as has been pointed out, there's many states inside of the Mexico borders, and the demographics and the layout of agents on where they're going to be has not necessarily been captured just yet because they haven't physically signed up because we're not launched as of yet. So that information can come, and Ishmael would be the one to ask directly where the conversations have been.
So Kai says, when would be the next appropriate time for the new country announcement? Would it be in Q1? Kai, we don't have a firm date yet, but it will probably be before the end of the year. Otherwise, it will be Q1. That have not been announced. Is that correct?
Yes, Q1 countries have not been announced as of yet, but it should be coming soon. All right, we're at the top of the hour, so we're out of time. If you have any further questions, definitely let's put those out. Like I said, brent.beavers@exprealty.net. You can find me on Workplace. I'll be happy to, if I don't know the answer, I will find the answer and be relentless about it for you. So we're here to support you because you are the most important factor in the growth of our business across global and what we're going to do with EXP on a worldwide basis, because without you, there is no EXP. And again, I'm proud personally to be a part of this great ride that we're all on together, and can't wait to support your efforts, and let's get this thing done. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy EXP.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is awesome.